Welcome into Halftime Huddle. All right, fans, are you ready? For Chiefs Kingdom and the millions watching around the world, are you ready? This show is presented by Starcade Media, where we break down all the action from the first half of the Chiefs game. And now, introducing your hosts, Chase, Riley, and Jaymes Howell.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Chase, a.k.a. CR Media. I'm here with my good friend, Jaymes. Jaymes, how are you this weekend, sir?
Man, I'm doing all right. The game isn't really going exactly how I want it to go. It's been a little rough, but, overall, it's been a good week of football, and, I can't really complain.
I agree. Let me turn off my TV there, because I know there was a reflection in my Mahomes thing back there. Anyways, yeah, man, I had this game kind of circled as one of those tough games on that schedule. I think the Chiefs are doing a really good job of a couple things. Number one, the defense. The defense is doing a phenomenal job of keeping San Francisco contained, if you will. It's Jimmy Garoppolo, but obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is their guy right now. But I mean, Christian McCaffrey, who started this game, looked like he was going to run all over the field, and then the defense did what they needed to do to contain him. Yep. Deebo Samuel, the defense has done what they needed to contain Deebo Samuel. George Kittle, the defense has been able to do what they need to do to contain him.
There's been a lot of yards given up, and there's no doubt about that. But they've done what they need to do. They've forced them to kick field goals. Meanwhile, while they're kicking field goals, we're scoring touchdowns, and we're right here in this game. It hasn't been pretty, but you're absolutely right. The defense is stepping up. We're getting pressure on the quarterback, and they're doing what they need to do to contain this offense. And now it's not an explosive offense. It's just Jimmy Garoppolo. But let's not kid ourselves now. CMC is an incredible running back, and even though he's only been with the 49ers for less than a week, we've seen a taste of what he can do on the field.
Absolutely. And we've seen a taste right now. I mean, he's 6 carries, 39 yards. I mean, that's 6.5 yards per carry. It's not, he's not having a super explosive game, but I mean, if they rely on him, but like I said, the defense has done what they need to do to make adjustments to contain him, and I can't say enough good things about that. What about the QB pressure? Man, I don't know where it's been. I have no idea where it's been lately, but Chris Jones has been eaten today, and it's definitely.
And that's been a big part of, what we were just saying, the defense doing what they need to do to contain this opposing offense. And it's been the pressure on Jimmy G.
Yep, absolutely. That there was that pick right there in the red zone that was going. It got shot up to Kittle right when the Chiefs got the ball before the half. Uh-huh. Here's something that's crazy. I tweet a lot. Or I try to tweet a lot during the games, kind of like watch along, tweet along. I do it every once in a while. You can check me out on Twitter at CRmedia1988 if you so desire. But I made a tweet about the referees throwing a lot of flags in this first half. Yeah. And there was somebody replied, and it was a Bills fan, and they were like, hey, I kind of noticed that last week too. In the Bills game, they were throwing a lot of flags. It's hard for teams to build momentum when there's so many flags. And I don't have the stats on me right now, man, but I feel like there's been a lot of a lot of laundry on the field, if you will.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of said right before we went live, I thought that this team was shooting themselves in the foot. And whether it be just the sheer amount of yardage that's being cost due to penalties, or the lack of rhythm that they're able to get into because of the penalties, it's causing a lot of troubles offensively.
Absolutely.
Draven says agreed, because Chiefs ain't at home. I don't know if that's the case, but it does seem like there has been a lot of flags, and I think it's been more. It's been both sides. I don't think it's been one-sided, and that's what you always ask for, is just consistency across the board.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what we've gotten today.
Yep. I feel like we kind of hammer this a lot, but I'm going to hammer it again. I need to see the Chiefs run the ball a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Pacheco has 4 carries for 12 yards. Jerick McKinnon has 1 carry for 8 yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has 2 for 6. I mean,
Yeah, we all kind of got excited. There was news that broke right before the game that Isaiah Pacheco was going to be the starting running back. Isaiah Pacheco kind of reminds me of Derek Gore from last year. All the fans have been kind of clamoring for him to start or to get more touches. And unfortunately, it just seems like it doesn't matter who starts. The Chiefs are just not going to run the ball that much.
Yep. Yeah.
So, all right, my man. Moving forward, what happens? What do the Chiefs need to do to secure this victory?
Run the ball.
Yeah.
Run the ball. Rely on those 3 guys that you've got: Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon. And when you run the ball, I don't know if you saw that comment from Tanner, but when you run the ball, Tanner, it opens up the passing game downfield, so the Chiefs can throw it down there. And
Correct. And it doesn't matter if you pass the ball or you run the ball predominantly. Once you become one-dimensional, it makes things a lot harder.
Yep.
No matter what you're doing, whether you're running or passing. I mean, Derrick Henry out there in Tennessee does a phenomenal job at running the ball. But when they become one-dimensional and only run the ball, they are not a very good offense.
Absolutely. Speaking of the offense, let's go ahead and throw flowers at the offensive line. Patrick Mahomes hasn't been sacked one time in this first half, and this is the number 1 or number 2 defense in the league. They're number 1 or number 2 in sacks.
Yeah, they're number 2 in the NFL in sacks. And
Yep.
and I said this before the game even started. I texted you, Chase, and I said, "Man, I'm really worried about this game. Kansas City might lose." I'll be honest. I didn't say Kansas City might lose. I said Kansas City is going to lose to the 49ers, because I was so worried about Orlando Brown Jr. and Andrew Wiley not being able to hold up against this pass rush from the 49ers.
Yep. And there was a questionable chopping block call on Jerick McKinnon, on Joey Bosa. I mean, they've been now, is it Joey or Nick who plays for San Francisco?
I don't know.
It's Nick. It's Nick. Joey plays for the Chargers. My bad. But there was a
they're basically the same guy to me.
But the offensive line has done a phenomenal job of protecting Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
The play calling, all that stuff. They haven't had to pull Travis Kelce away. To help with the blocking. The offensive line is doing a stellar job. As long as they continue it into the second half, that's good. There was an interception. Mahomes has had a pretty damn good game. He's 15 for 21, 197 yards so far, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. That 1 pick was off a deflected pass. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, that's on Mahomes.
Yeah.
Maybe Mahomes shouldn't have thrown that ball, but still, I'm not gonna criticize Mahomes.
That's a little nitpicky.
Yeah, a little nitpicky for me. So I think after this loss, I think this team, after that loss last week to the Buffalo Bills, a phenomenal football team. Obviously, between the Bills and the Chiefs, I mean, it's very argumentative of who the best team in the AFC is. That the argument can be made for the Chiefs and the argument can be made for the Bills. So like I said, losing to one of the best teams in the AFC, arguably last week, now coming in and facing a stellar defense like the 49ers, I think the Chiefs are doing a fantastic job. Like I said, run the ball a little bit more, keep the offense on the field, and give them opportunities.
Penalties.
Yep, clean up some of these penalties, but keep the offense on the field to let them build momentum to make big plays down the field. That's my keys to victory. The keys to victory any week are going to be putting the ball in Mahomes' hands. The more time you get the ball in Mahomes' hands, the more time you have an opportunity to make a big play to score. So I don't want to sound like Chris Collinsworth. Hey, whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. But that's the idea here, right? Get the ball in Mahomes' hands more often, and you'll be able to make big plays, which will lead to scoring, which will lead to us winning the game.
Yeah, for me, it's like I said, clean up those those penalties. We had a couple little miscues. The Harrison Butker miss right there. Some of these little things that we're just shooting ourselves in the foot, clean these little things up. And I'd like to see the wide receivers get a little bit more involved. Right now, it looked like McCole Hardman is our best wide receiver. And that, to me, is just unacceptable.
Yep.
Because he's not. He's not our best wide receiver. And Juju and MVS need to step up. That's why we brought him in here. And, and if they don't, maybe we'll hear some more talks about OBJ coming.
Maybe. The other thing is the defense. I don't want to see the defense get conservative. I don't want to see it at all.
Yeah.
I want to see the defense stay aggressive, stay on top of Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is shaking in that pocket. They need to continue putting pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo and continue putting Jimmy Garoppolo in the dirt. And that's
what does Mitch Holthus say? You gotta
put the hammer down. That's right. Sounds like we're back live, guys. That's been it for the Halftime Huddle, brought to you by Starcade Media. Again, my name is Chase. You can find me at CR Media 1988 on all forms of social media. Join me on Twitter, and we can tweet along while watching the game. Find my friend James here, Jaymes Howell at Arrowhead Asylum. Check us out on Tuesday nights. Other than that, another episode of the Halftime Huddle. Go Chiefs.